I recently had the opportunity to spend a few days on Arrakis as part of the large-scale beta weekend for Dune Awakening, the new MMORPG. And let me tell you, as a massive Dune fan, novels, movies, the whole deal, this was quite an experience. So, in this video I'm breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to this game, as concisely as I can, so maybe you can make a better informed decision when it comes to purchasing. We'll be talking exploration, combat, survival, bugs, and whether this game lives up to the Dune hype train. So if you're excited for Dune Awakening and want to see more, subscribe and let's ride a sandworm into Arrakis. Disclaimer, any and all footage you will see was captured during the large-scale beta weekend on the weekend beta server, so it's not the final game. First, Dune Awakening nails the atmosphere of Arrakis, mostly. If you're a Dune fan, just walking around the desert can feel like a dream. The landscapes, the shipwrecks, the testing stations, it's all kind of impressive and sometimes even immersive. You're dodging sandworms, soaking up the atmosphere, and the graphics, honestly pretty good for an MMO. I spent countless hours just exploring, and at times it did feel like I was in Frank Herbert's world, which is ultimately the point of the game, I think. The sandworms are a highlight. They are constantly moving, popping up on the map, and you can even bait them by making noise on drum sand, or harvesting spice and flower sand. Clearing encounters and bouncing with my suspensor belt, enjoying the view, often had me like,
My Arrakis. My Dune.
But let's talk about the beta itself specifically. It was limited to just the first two major areas, which makes sense for a beta, but it meant progression stopped fast. No access to materials above iron, no ornithopters, the iconic Dune flying machines, and only a handful of weapons to try. I had like 100 research points just sitting there at the end, because I had unlocked all the iron-based items and everything else needed materials I couldn't get. Even harvesting spice felt anticlimactic a bit, as I couldn't really use it. So I ended up wandering the desert, fighting bandits, doing quests, and admiring those glorious sandworms. It was fun, but I was definitely craving more. Now the story? It's interesting, but needs work, definitely. The setup is cool. Paul Atreides was never born, the Fremen are nearly extinct, and you're dropped in the desert to find what's left of them in this alternate timeline, but the execution kind of clunky. The cutscenes are a bit buggy, and the main story missions feel a bit underwhelming. You're mostly snorting spice in a cave to trigger cinematic missions called trials that double as gameplay tutorials while explaining the Fremen lifestyle. It's a cool idea, but after a while I was like, is this it? I'm hoping the full game has more, because right now it's not quite hitting the mark yet with the story. Thankfully, the side quests are more engaging, at least in terms of gameplay. You've got NPCs handing out missions and trade posts with contract boards. Loved how some of the NPCs unlock skills for new classes. This allowed me to start Swordmaster and feed people my knees. But I did a quest for a guy and unlocked trooper skills as well, for the grapple hook and the grenade, so you can mix and match your build quite early on. I also grabbed planetology skills just by chatting to an NPC during the main quest, which got me some useful survival skills. The quests themselves are simple. Fetch this, kill that. But they push you to explore, travel and fight, which is the heart of the game. They're not groundbreaking, but they get the job done and keep you moving across Arrakis.
Inside the mask, you'll find a tube to allow you to drink the recycled water.
Let's talk survival, because this is a survival game at its core. The big one is hydration. Your water level is always dropping, especially in the sun. You can sip from leaves for a quick fix, but you can also purify enemy blood into water, or use a steel suit to recycle your own fluids, which was super Fremen. I loved the lore accuracy. You can even craft litarians or cisterns to store water. The system's balanced. You're always thinking about water like you should on Arrakis, but it doesn't ruin the fun. Death is not too punishing either. You can track back to your items, but if a sandworm eats you, you can say goodbye to your whole inventory.
Sandworm eat you. All your stuff gone. Yes.
Combat's next, and I would call it serviceable. Melee is simple. Block, attack, time your block for a parry. There's a light attack and a heavy attack that breaks shields. It works, but the NPCs can be clunky. There's a whole Swordmaster skill tree with cool abilities which I leaned into for my lore accurate Harkonnen melee guy. Side note, I'm planning a video on lore accurate Dune Awakening, so stay tuned. Ranged combat uses dart-based pistols, rifles and SMGs to fit the Dune vibe, but they are basic. I was bummed we didn't get snipers or DMR-like slower weapons, which would feel more in line with Dune, instead of the fully automatic rifle brawls that just felt like a generic shooter. The beta's weapon variety was limited, and the fast-paced gunfights don't totally match Dune's slower, primitive warfare. I'm hoping the full game adds more depth and variety. Combat gets a boost from skills. You've got turrets, grenades, some explode, some lift enemies for crowd control, and traversal tools like the grapple hook, which I loved. I lost my footage on Bene Gesserit's skills unfortunately, but they are fun, letting you mind control NPCs. I had a blast mixing Swordmaster for melee, Planetologist for survival, and Trooper for explosives and grappling. The build variety's got potential. Traversal is also great. On foot you can combine skills with suspensor belts to travel and climb fast. And the sandbike was a game changer, making travel way less tedious. Plus, sandworms chase bikes, which make for some great shots. The backup tool lets you pocket your bike, and the inventory is handy for moving gear between bases. The game definitely felt way smoother and more free after the sandbike. I didn't dive super deep into base building, but I did mess around and built this weird half-finished castle. The customization is awesome, you've got tons of building options and furniture. You can craft, store materials, or make a cozy living space. It's a big thumbs up for creating your own Arrakis hub. Interestingly, I found that if you make a big base, you have to pay taxes to the Imperium, but I couldn't access areas where I could do that, so we'll see how that plays out. Now the not-so-fun stuff. Bugs and performance. This game is rough around the edges. Frames are mostly stable, but some sandworm encounters tank my FPS for no apparent reason. My character would rubber band, climbing glitched out, and one time my parry button just stopped working mid-fight. I also had a bug where equipped items wouldn't show up until I restarted. With the game launching in June, Funcom's got a lot of polishing to do. This game is not complete yet. So, overall, I'm biased as a Dune fan, but I had a blast. The mechanics are simple, some are flawed, but the atmosphere, survival, and roleplay potential are fantastic. The beta's a solid start, but I'm reserving judgment until the full release. I'm hyped for the stuff we didn't get to see, like joining House Harkonnen or Atreides, or the Landsrad, or exploring Arrakeen. Those are deal breakers for me. If the full game adds more variety and gets polished, and the endgame provides enough to do after the story, this could be something special, especially for Dune enjoyers. I have to say I did not spend time with PvP during this beta weekend. One of the reasons for that is I didn't find anyone to duel, and one reason is PvP is not really a priority for me. I am planning to make videos on it later, but this weekend I just focused on single-player exploration survival. And that's my Dune Awakening beta weekend in a nutshell. This is a brand new channel, so feel free to tell me what you thought. I have a movie channel as well where I talk about Dune things among others, so check it out if you enjoy movies. Also, what do you think about Awakening? Are you excited for the full release? Got any Dune stories or beta experiences? Drop them in the comments below, I'd love to hear. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more Dune Awakening content, and check out my upcoming lore accurate Harkonnen video. So see you soon.